Alright guys, so as you can see we are here for AOR Australia here today in the Tier 1 league this year, not F2. We are in the F1 league, so this is the first league out of, I believe there's 8 tiers with 2 assist tiers as well. So my first race in Tier 1, I want it to be a good one, so let's get into the qualifying lap here now. And yeah, I certainly feel like this season for AOR in Tier 1 of PS4 is probably the most competitive it's ever been, with 20 drivers who are probably 20 of the best in the world, and it's going to be very hard competition this year. And here we are for round 1, which is the Australian Grand Prix at a track which I don't get on too well with, and you can see in my qualifying lap here getting a massive step of oversteer and taking way too much curb there on my first attempt and getting an invalidated lap time. So this not being one of my favourite tracks, I did manage to get a podium in F2 last year from 11th on the grid, but today I was just hoping for points, and then moving on to tracks like China and Bahrain, which I get on with pretty well. And as you may have noticed, I am driving the Red Bull this season, which is a decent car to have, certainly, because it was actually my third choice, I believe. I think I put Mercedes first, Ferrari second, and then Red Bull third, and I was definitely not going to get Mercedes and Ferrari because I didn't have priority. I think I was 13th in terms of priority of car choice, but the Red Bull is a decent car to have for this season, and hopefully we can do pretty well in not just the Drivers' Championship but also the Constructors as well. So this qualifying lap so far hasn't been amazing, it's not been too bad, but I realised with only 3 minutes 40 seconds to go, this is probably going to be my only attempt, because after bottling the first lap I knew this is probably going to, well, especially the fact that I haven't got much fuel left in the car, this is definitely going to be my one and only attempt, so I can't bottle it at all. I need to do as well as possible in this lap and see where it puts me on the grid. So it was all on this lap, so there was a lot of pressure right now. As you can see, Jim Novo Tank gets out of the way there, and yeah, it's not been the greatest of laps, but I was just trying my best to get a lap in which would be good enough, hopefully for the top 10. And you can see my teammate there, Willie, is out of the qualifying session, but now getting towards the line, it's a 22.0, which I wasn't that happy with, to be honest, because in practice I was doing around 21.5s, and a 22.0 is probably not going to get me into the top 10. And yeah, my confidence levels weren't really too high heading into this race, because obviously, as I said, I don't really like the track, and it also took me quite a while to find a setup which suited my style around this track. But you can see Ali K has taken pole from Novo Tank, and then I am down in 13th, which means I get a fresh set of tyres, but yeah, I've got a lot of work to do in order to get to where I want to be in this race. But starting on the ultra softs and then going to the softs for the second stint, and I felt like this was the perfect strategy, and it was better not to go on the supers in the second or first stint. So 5 red lights and we are away for AOR season 14. I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. Can we deliver this season? As already getting past the McLaren there of H Racing Green, heading towards turn 1 here on lap 1, taking it very cautiously. You don't want to lose your front wing or anything at this early stage of the race, but it is P11, now P12 at the moment, side by side with Big C and the Williams, and we're just going to stick to the outside line into this corner, try and avoid any carnage, as Jay Thorne has gone off in the Mercedes, and Shelley has made contact with Aresi there and spins, and we're going to have to take evasive action, and we've actually got an illegal overtake on Shelley, and I'm obviously not going to give that back to him because he was facing the wrong direction. So once again our luck is not there, and the game is going to give us a penalty. And yeah, that, I think I've had 4 proper league races on this game, 3 esports races in this one, and every single race I've had some sort of glitch which has given me a disadvantage. So I was really not very happy at this stage, and I was planning on actually going to the AOR stewards and trying to get that penalty removed, but obviously because I haven't had my pit stop yet, I'm going to get the penalty in the pit stop because it's a stop and go penalty. So yeah, I was pretty annoyed at this stage, but I just had to focus on doing the job from here. So P8 is at the moment, and already closing on the Sauber in front, and we are now in the leading group. So as long as we can stick to these guys and maybe overtake a few of them, we'll be in a good position hopefully for some decent points. But with the dirty air effect on this game, it's definitely going to be very hard to get through, and I was running 7.7 wings, which is quite high for this track, so it's going to be quite hard to overtake these cars in front. But we're already getting quite close to the Sauber in front, and are we going to possibly go for a move up the inside into turn number 3 here at Australia of lap 2? No, we're not. We thought better of it, so I believe at this stage it was Novo Tank leading the race. He is the season 12 champion, and he's definitely going to be aiming for his second AOR championship this year. But I was definitely very happy to even be a part of Tier 1 this season, and the aim is definitely not to win it this year. Obviously I don't have the pace for that, but I was aiming for around a top 5 finish in the championship this year, and I want to be aiming to win AOR PS4 Tier 1 in the coming years. So on to lap 4 now. You can see behind the Sauber still struggling to get through, just purely because of the dirty air and the high wings that I was running. I couldn't get close enough to make a move, and if I was going to make a move it would have to be on the brakes, and I didn't really want to take too much of a risk. But currently we've got Jake behind us in the super soft, so he's running an alternate strategy to the majority of people. As now into turn 1 of lap 5, and getting DRS here, and I don't think we're close enough to make any sort of manoeuvre into turn 3. And yeah, we had a look to the inside to try and put him off, but still not able to make the move. As you can see, Big Shot Player is out of the race. Well, he's left the session, so that's the end of his race 5 laps in, so not a great start to the championship for him. But yeah, so far in this race it seems like we have the pace at the moment, which I didn't really expect at this track, which as I've said many times, I don't really get on with too well. I'm looking forward to tracks like Silverstone, Spa, the old classic tracks which really suit my style, but still here on lap 8, still behind the Sauber, not able to make any sort of manoeuvre at the moment. We're not too far off David Greco, who I'm sure many of you would have heard of. He is the Codemasters handling person, I believe, and he also took part in the biggest sim race in history, the Vegas E-Race, where he got the Visa fastest lap. So that is the level of competition I am against in AOR Tier 1, which is pretty cool to see. But you can see the Sauber's going for a move on Gamer De Best, who's actually made a mistake, and we're going to have to take evasive action, and we get a warning for extending track limits, although I had nowhere else to go, and we didn't get any damage from that luckily. But I believe Gamer actually got, I think he lost half his front wing from that, so luckily we got away with it. But that's one more warning, and we already had one before that, so we're going to be at risk of getting some sort of penalty. And you can see going on the radio there, I was just seeing if I could get any information about the penalty in the pits. But anyway, you can see Alex and Clarkey are going side by side in front, and these two I believe are about 3rd and 4th on the grid, so we've definitely made a lot of progress after our great start, I believe from 13th to 8th, so that is what I wanted. And we're going to be pitting at the end of this lap for softs, which I thought was the right strategy, to go softs for 17 laps, actually no, it's 19 laps to the end, and surprisingly it actually wasn't. The quickest strategy was super softs, but I didn't think that was possible, and that's definitely going to cost us later on in the race, and I didn't realise that at this stage of the race, but we had to cope with it. And I thought, when I saw people going on super softs, I thought they were going to be doing a 2-stop strategy, but you can see the Sauber in front is still going for a move on Clarkey, but he's unable to make a move, and Jake is still behind us at the moment, and he's going to be certainly doing a longer stint than us. We tried to go around the outside of the Sauber there, but we're going to be pitting this lap, as do Alex and Clarkey, as now in lean mix. Definitely trying not to speed in the pit lane, and yeah, just hoping for a good pit stop. But yeah, we got the penalty, and of course it was going to be used in the pit stops and not at the end of the race. So I realised that from here I'm going to be quite far down, and the only thing I can do to resolve that glitch is to go to the AOR stewards and ask for the penalty to be removed. But we are in 14th now, and everyone else around us has gone to super softs for the second stint, which is definitely the quicker option. But from the practice I did, I only tried out ultra softs to softs, and I thought it wasn't possible to go on supers, but it turns out it was. So that's a strategical error on my behalf, which is definitely going to cost me. And yeah, it's not been the greatest of starts to AOR Tier 1, but I was only hoping for some points today, and to not score any is not the end of the world. Just got to look forward to tracks that I like, and hopefully towards the end of the season where I can start aiming for podiums and possible wins in the wet, hopefully, because I love the wet conditions, as many of you will know. But you can see now in P13, and actually now P12, because some people did do a 2-stop, but can see going a bit wide into turn 1. Jaythorn's right behind us and he had such good pace that I just let him go, and I was going to try and stick to the back of him, but with the dirty air and the fact that he has super softs, it's going to be very, very difficult. So it's going to be a tough ask from here to score any points, and yeah, just got to keep the car on the road and see what we can get out of it, as P13 it is. And we're like, our times weren't bad, as you can see there. I've extended track limits, and that's a 3-second time penalty for the most minor thing, which probably cost me time, but yeah, it's a 3-second time penalty with addition to the 5-second penalty that I had in the pits. So yeah, at this stage I was very, very angry, but I'm getting used to things not going my way in league racing so far on F1 2017. Just gotta hope for more luck in the coming races. But yeah, lap 18 it is now. Well, towards the end of lap 18, you can see there's a couple more people in the pits, and these were the ones doing 2 stops. The ones who pitted earlier were just pitting late for their 1 stops because they obviously started on the super softs. But Jake has come out in front of us. He started on the super softs and he's just come out in front of us, and that's 10th place. So because he's on the ultras and we're on the softs and his tyres are fresh, there's no chance we're going to be able to keep up with him, and unless anyone else pits or anyone retires or anything like that, 11th is all we can hope for at the moment. So we just got to wait and see what happens from here to the end. But I certainly enjoyed the race. It's obviously great fun to be racing against the level of drivers that I am. As you can see, they're making a big mistake shifting down one too many gears, and Jamie in the Renault, who is in P12 on the ultra softs, is much quicker, and he caught me up pretty quickly as Jake pulled away as well. So I knew he's probably going to easily come past here, so I'm not going to fight him too hard. And you can see he's already going for an overtake. I'm sure he was running 6.6 wings because he had great straight line speed as well. So he goes up the inside into turn 1. I believe he ran a bit wide there. And can we possibly get him back here, even though it would probably slow us down, and he's actually got DRS anyway. But we're going to use the slipstream, not going to go for any stupid dive bomb. And yeah, it's P12, so yeah, very unlikely on lap 22 out of 29 we're going to score points today. But for the next round in China, just got to make sure I get the perfect strategy and make sure I have a better setup there as well, and it's obviously a better track as well, so hopefully we can be looking at a decent finish there. As you can see, going very, very wide there, but Aresi has spun and hit the wall in front, so the season 13 champion is out of the race. Well, I'm not sure he was out of the race, but he's out of contention for any sort of points, so that's us into P11 and onto the final lap of the race. And unless anybody crashes in the final sector, we're going to get P11 here today. But then I realised I might be in 5 seconds of Jaythorn in front, so if I can get within 5 seconds of him, I could go to the stewards, ask for my penalty to be removed, and maybe get a point out of today, as Nova Tankers took the win. But you can see I've actually had a massive moment out of the corner, and that may have cost me quite a bit, as Shelley behind in the Renault is in P12, but we're going to cross the line in P11. My 3-second time penalty hasn't affected me because the people around me also had that penalty for corner cutting as well. But you could see, despite our penalty, that we were actually 5.1 seconds behind Jaythorn, so there was no point with that 1/10 of a second going to the stewards and asking for the penalty to be removed. But Nova Tank and David Greco make it a harsh one too, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like if you have, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you next week for China, I believe. So I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.